Okay, so welcome to my portfolio. I started off with a self-portrait, which I think is pretty common. And then after that is my drawing test. I probably should have included a table of contents, but I didn't. Okay, so yeah, here's the standing figure, the figure sitting, the room, the window view, and the still life. I pretty much bombed this part. I got really bad on composition, which is fair, and perspective, which is also fair. I definitely should have spent longer on these. This was kind of last minute for me. And then starting with the pieces. Oh, I had a lot of huge, acrylic paintings, so I just took photos. I emailed them to ask if that was okay, and it was, so that worked out. Here's a project I did. Okay, so they did say no fantasy, and I'm kind of pushing it here. I don't know why they let me get away with it, but they did. This is a digital piece, and here's some process work. Oh, I also did pretty badly on process, so obviously I think there needs to be more ideation and like different compositions, or I don't know, thumbnailing, things like that. I'm notoriously lazy. I basically did these after I actually started doing the final piece, so yeah, don't be like me, actually do process work. And then yeah, that's just some extra process work. Oh, it's based on The Golden Compass, which is a really good book that I read as a kid. Here's a still life. It's also a picture. The real thing is big, but it's graphite. This is another acrylic painting. This is a figure study that I did. It's digital. I used reference from a Croquis Cafe video, which you can find on YouTube. That's a really good resource. Here is a, I don't know, statue I drew, I guess. It's also graphite. And here's some process work for it, which is, I guess, just me taking photos as I was drawing. Hi, Benji. That's my dog. He's the best. Here's another figure study and the process work. It's also digital. I don't know if it's a good idea to include so much digital. They want to know that you're competent in traditional media, but I guess it's okay to include some digital. Yeah. This is another acrylic painting. Well, it's a photo of one, but yeah. And here's some Conte sketches, I guess. Here is one more acrylic painting and some process work for it. More figure study. Another acrylic painting. And some process. And okay, I went really fantasy again. This is a book cover I made for a science fiction elective I took. Yeah, so there's an explanation here, some process work, and yeah. And then there's another one, and some process work. And finally, a couple watercolors I did. They're real tiny. I did them when I went to Cuba on vacation. And yeah, that's it for this part. Okay, so for the sketchbook portion, I drew in a couple. I think you're okay with just submitting one, but it's also allowed to submit more than one, so that's what I did. I did well on this. It was probably my strongest bit because I got a 9 out of 10 on the visual curiosity portion. So if we look into it, this is just a blank page. I started off with some bone studies. This is when I went to a museum. So yeah, it's good to go out to places if you can and draw from observation, because they really like looking for that, draw places and people that you see. I got to travel a lot this year, which I'm really grateful for because it gave me this chance to do stuff like this. But if you don't have the means to travel far away, you can always just go out into your neighborhood and draw the places there. You can also go on Google Maps. What's that thing where you can it'll generate like an image of somewhere in the world, and you can like do studies of that. I know they say like you're not supposed to do like studies from photos, and they'd rather you draw from life. But if you don't have the means to get a lot of variety in your daily life, I think it's okay to use what resources you can. So yeah, here's just a few pages of my dog. Some pose studies. I tend to draw really tiny, so a lot of this stuff is like super cramped. I don't know if they liked that or didn't, but I guess they did. Yeah, but that's just me. Obviously, I had to rush a bit at the end because it wasn't manageable anymore continuing at the pace I was going at. So, my sister was like, why don't you just draw one thing on one page? And I was like, you know what, you're right. And she was. So here's some feet studies. I should have done more, but definitely include like anatomy studies if you can, because those are always good. I've never tried to make a sketchbook that was like pretty before, so basically add color when you can. I used to always just draw in pencil, but this time I really like forced myself to kind of freehand in pen, which was new for me. But yeah, just try new things because it's a sketchbook, right? And you're supposed to be experimenting. I went to a lot of fashion websites to get references from. Of course, like again, it's better that you draw from life, but it's also like okay if you don't. These are from when I was in China. And that's my neighborhood. That's my mom's work. Oh, I also drew a lot of Met Gala stuff when that was happening. Yeah. Oh, and my sister's in here a lot because she's the only one who like I can force to like sit there and let me draw her. But yeah, just draw a lot of like what you see in real life if you can, like rooms, people. This is when I went to the park. Oh, I also drew from a lot of dance videos that I watched. Yeah. So, oh, this is a cat I saw at an Airbnb. Yeah. This is when I went to Quebec. Oh yeah, I know you're not supposed to include fan art, but I just watched Princess Mononoke and I got excited, so there's that page. Grandpa. This is from a dance performance that I watched in China. I did take a lot of photos, like, using my own camera, so I figured it would be okay to use them as reference later. And these are just animals at a farm. And, oh yeah, everyone in China is on mopeds all the time. What's with that? And this is when I went to Cuba. These are like months apart. I should have worked on this more consistently, but like whenever I went on vacation, I was like, oh, you know what? It's time to draw. And then I did. So, yeah. Some hand studies. It's good to include those. This is acrylic that I added onto the sketchbook. This is, Hourly Comics Day, which I had fun with. Yeah, and then from here, it was more of me rushing, so I tried to draw bigger because the deadline was, like, approaching. So yeah, this is just a lot of life drawing. And try to use different mediums here. Media? Here are some, like, Conte drawings. Yeah, these are all from Croquis Cafe on YouTube. To this day, I actually haven't been to a, like, real official life drawing session, like, in real life. So, Um, yeah, I guess I have a lot of these. Yeah, so it's a great resource, Croquis Cafe, and they have all sorts of like different models, which is awesome. So it's a good resource. I actually started this one like too high, and then I realized like where like she wouldn't have anywhere to put her legs, so I just kind of stuck them at the bottom. But like aesthetic. Here's some more of my dog. Some pose studies. Oh, this room was kind of nice. This is my living room. But then I didn't realize like this pen would bleed to the other side, but it did, but that's okay. Yeah, this was just my sister watching TV. Here's some more fashion studies? I don't know what these are called. Yeah, that's my dad sleeping. Oh, I went to the zoo, and it's good to do, I guess, animal studies. Again, if you can't, like, to me, I think you might as well use reference if you are unable to get to these places, but it's always good to, like, find animals in real life and draw them. Yeah. And here we are with more figure studies for life drawing. Keeps like unfocusing. Man, I don't know how to edit videos, so it's just gonna have to be you guys, I guess, tolerating this, me talking to myself. Oh man. I have really bad hand-eye coordination for someone who wants to draw for a living. Yeah, so here's where I kind of started rushing. I'm gonna switch hands. And yeah, so I was like, okay, one drawing a page, and it worked out good, I guess, because at the end, I don't know, I was really running out of time, so. So yeah, these are kind of like borderline gestures, which is fine. I guess it's good to include some actually. And that's the end. This is my second sketchbook that I submitted. It's just full of statues that I saw at the Louvre because I was really lucky and I got to go to France late last year. So yeah, no, this recording position is super awkward, so yeah, just bear with me on it. Yeah, this is just a little book I filled with figures or statues that I saw. It was good practice for me because I got to like practice shading and also like things like clothing folds, so it was really helpful, and I think it was good to include like a full like mini project kind of, and this is something I worked pretty hard on. Okay. This is all graphite, so my fingers will be smudged later. It's all good. Just 2 rows. And that's the last one. Okay, finally I just have this little project, which I actually made a long time ago, but I kind of still like. They're watercolors. This is kind of my first time trying watercolor, really, and it's just on Bristol board. Like, I didn't even have the paper for it. Yeah, and there's like a little bit of weird poetry in front of it. And yeah, these were really quick, but like, it's good to include stuff that you're still like fond of or proud of. There we go. Yeah, and that is what I included. Okay, so final thoughts. I know this video was really rambly and long, and I don't know how useful it is going to be, but when I was applying, it really helped me to go look for videos like these, and it was sort of encouraging too. So I'm just trying to, I guess, pay it forward. Yeah, good luck to anyone who's applying. Do your best, have fun, and yeah, maybe I'll see you there.